Morning, we're having some Florida warmth right now. Scott, yeah, we got home. It was a bit smoky, I have to say. Hi, Amy in Detroit. A bit smoky up in Yosemite. We had a really amazing trip. I'm just getting ready to say hello to everybody. Carol, hello. My sister, you missed us. We missed you. We kind of beat the smoke home. Hey, Ramon. Yeah, it's we beat the smoke home, kind of. I mean, the smoke is now here in Santa Monica a bit, and I suppose I now know about Cal Fire, which is a website where you can go and you can see what parts of California are on fire at any given moment, and so I can see where all the fires are now, which is nice. Nice to know where the fires are. I'm just trying to get the camera how I like it straight, but yeah, you can't win them all, can you? Um, so so now we can see where the fires are. I hope that's not making anybody nauseous. Um, we now see where the fires are. There's one sort of near LA, but nowhere near the smoke. Up in Yosemite, oh my God, we got up there on. We drove up on Thursday, and then got up at I got up at 5:45. We had to meet the guide at 6:30, but by the time then we met him, then drove into the park, had a little briefing, and then continued on to where we were supposed to go for the hike. So it was 8:30 by the time we got to the beginning of the hike, and then we were going until pretty close to 6 p.m. It was 6 hours. We hiked 10.29 miles, according to my watch, which it's kept when you set it to go for an outdoor walk, it keeps saying like, "Are you finished? You're finished now, right?" You have to keep telling it, "No, I'm not finished." So there were some times where I think it was paused, but we had a 2,000 foot descent and or ascent and descent. We got up to see a couple waterfalls, and it was gorgeous. Getting ash in Denver, Carol. Oh, according to your daughter. Yeah, so it was a giant hike up there, and to the top to see. We saw the Vernal waterfall, and then the Nevada Falls, which is up above that. And our guide Cody was telling us that there was about 10% of the usual amount of visitors in the park and on this walk. And when we got to the top of the first falls, which is where I made that video that I posted in the group, um, there was debate like, are we just going to go down now, or are we going to continue up to the top? And we decided to go up, which was again as difficult. Cody deceived us a little bit on that one, and it was brutal. And then when you got to the top, there was a decent crowd of people at the top. I would say there was probably 50 people up there, and he said that was a tent. So I mean, it should have just been crawling with people during the regular time, which you felt sort of special by the fact that you'd gotten up there. But then if there's that big of a crowd, it's like, oh my God. I mean, still, it's just as hard to get up there. Probably even harder because you're packed cheek to jowl the whole way. There were points on the thing where you had to go single file to get through, and the guide was telling us that sometimes there'd be people coming down as you're going up, and it was nuts. But that was all. On a beautiful, sunny, clear day. We got to the top, and our guide made us some turkey wraps. Belinda had hers without turkey, and we dunked our heads in the cool mountain stream. It's all snow melt up there. We saw one of the dumbest person in Yosemite out on a rock point right above the falls, where if he had slipped, he would have been dead in a second. Of course, he went out there to take a selfie on the other side of the fence like a friggin' moron, but he got away with it. He didn't die, so I'm happy for him. I didn't want him to die, but when I saw him out there, it was like I could hardly go even look at him. And then we hiked down, and it was hot and beautiful scenery. But then the next day, we got up to go into the park on Saturday, and oh my God, it was. First of all, it was kind of smoky where we were staying, just outside of the park. But then when you went into Yosemite Valley, it's not a wide valley. You know, you could. It's from one side to the other. I don't know how many miles it is, but you can easily see across it. And so and then the sides go up pretty dramatically steep. It's a beautiful place, but that means that it's shaded on both sides, and then when the smoke comes in over the top, it got dark. So it felt like it was like dusk twilight, but it was 2 in the afternoon, and it wasn't super smoky smelling, but there was ash falling down, and just dim and freaky, post-apocalyptic. We went to a swimming hole. We went to lunch at the hotel Grand Awani Hotel, which is a architecturally beautiful, and I guess you don't have to be rich, but there's no broke people staying there. And we had a lunch. You know, they were open for, you could get a pre-made sandwich for $22, and so we enjoyed those. And then we went back to our accommodation outside the park, because inside the park it was just so freaky and dim. It just felt weird to be in there doing things. Even when we were swimming at the swimming hole, it felt post-apocalyptic. It just felt like, no, we should be running to get away from this. Your survival instinct kind of takes over, and you have this back of the mind thing about, like, we need to get out of here. Keys, you're right. Don't go chasing waterfalls. That's exactly right. And so we got out of the park on Saturday, and then yesterday, Sunday, we were going to quick duck in our entrance and then go to the south entrance past some giant redwood trees. A couple of our friends were visiting from Cleveland, and so they had never seen the giant redwoods, and we were going to kind of just go in and see those and then come out the south entrance of the park. And we decided, well, instead of going into the park this way, we'll drive around the outside, because we won't be in that smoke lid. But it was smoky on the outside, and as we got down to the south end, we were going to dip back up in and see the redwoods. It was so smoky and awful, and it was like people were leaving the area to get away from the smoke. So we hit the McDonald's and then took off out of there, stuck in traffic under the smoke for a few hours, and then eventually it's kind of cleared off the rest of the way home. So it was kind of a weird trip, but that hike was so ridiculous, you know, that we were pretty tired on Saturday. My legs weren't as sore as I thought they were going to be sore, but they weren't so sore. But we were pretty tired on Saturday, so kind of lucky to have that weird, smoky, just relaxed day. We had super fun time at night. Belinda will be here tomorrow. We could talk about karaoke and the weird card games we played. But then yesterday was kind of a nothing day, and I thought I will go to bed early last night and I'll wake up today and feel good. But I felt kind of crap today, and it's been hey, Ken's saying hi. I'm saying hi to Ken. And we got back here after we did take a selfie in the fireplace, Scott. So that's that. Maybe I can post that to the group later when Belinda gives me, I think it's on her camera. So we, Phil, 5 inches of rain. You convinced your wife that's a foot? That's a good one. I think that's a penis joke. I'm not sure. It is Monday when I'm kind of tired, and I'm off the clock of the weird comedy clock. But yeah, we were pretty tired today. Belinda didn't even come downstairs. She didn't even get out of bed until about 1 this afternoon. And that was only to come downstairs and get potato chips and then go back up to the bed. She's got some amazing metabolism, which allows her to look like she's running triathlons when in fact she's lying in bed and eating potato chips all day. It's pretty awesome. I know how to pick them, as you well know. And so today's Motivational Monday, but I just don't even know. I was reading the New York Times book review from last week. It's better than reading books a lot of times. You can read the reviews of books and you don't have to then read the book, but you glean some interesting facts. And one of the things they were talking about in this book, which was about something, as all books are, almost. I don't know if you've ever seen Finnegan's Wake. It doesn't feel like that's about anything, but I'm sure that it is. So they were talking about Mark Twain saying they didn't know that if Mark Twain quoted truth is stranger than fiction, or he was the first person to say truth is stranger than fiction, but he said that he did explain it, that truth is stranger than fiction because fiction is obliged to stick to the possible and truth is not. which is why truth is stranger than fiction, because things that are unbelievable, you often say if you read this in a book, you wouldn't believe it. And that can happen in real life and not so much in fiction. And the reason that I think that that's motivational, as I try and see if I can get myself on the YouTube screen, because this is really what it's all about, is me being able to do the show and have the show going on the side. Oh, it's just a shame that you can't see that. So let me just turn that sideways for. Oh, when it goes to full screen, it does a freak out. All right, there we go. Let's bring it back down. So the reason I felt like that was motivational, that truth is stranger than fiction, and that it doesn't have to stick to the possible, which means that in real life, a lot of things are possible that you might not think are possible, and you got to give them a try. Oh, Mark, you're saying I have other friends from Cleveland? Yes, I do. I did tell them I'd been to Garfield's tomb a few times after our conversation the other day, Mark. Oh, they're asking if you flooded in Cleveland, huh? What's that shirt? This is a Defend New Orleans t-shirt. As you may not know, who's asking that. Oh, God. Now I'm going up. Or I'm trying to figure out whose question I just answered. What's on that shirt? Earl, yeah, it's in New Orleans. I'm a big fan of New Orleans, and right now it happens to be, I'm so sorry that Jen's not here today, because she does but if you're playing the bingo at home for the show, it's Jazz Festing in place today on WWOZ. So if you download the WWOZ app, or you go to WWOZ New Orleans website, they're playing recordings of prior Jazz Fest. They've been doing that all weekend, and I haven't been listening while we've been on our vacation in Yosemite, but I was listening today, so I caught a bit of Pete Fountain and Ernie Cado. Ernie Cado is so awesome. He's been gone for a while now, though. Little Voice of the Wetlands today. The Midnight Disturbers is coming up after the show, and they're pretty great. That's kind of an all-star brass band that is pretty great. So if you're into brass bands, I mean, they're funk brass, you're gonna like it. And then Tank of the Bangers is on this afternoon after that. And then oh no, wait, that's tomorrow. What is the matter with me? No, it's John Boutte is finishing out the day today, who I'm a big fan of. We played one of his songs at our wedding, his version of Sam Cooke's Change Is Gonna Come. So that's why I'm wearing the shirt, because I love New Orleans. Todd, you just got your copy of Replay. Well, oh my God, there's so many people now reading Replay. I'm very excited that I'm very flattered that people would take my advice. And now, with great power comes responsibility. I did enjoy it, and some of the people who have read it have enjoyed it. So I hope that you enjoy it, Todd. And I'm working on our next book recommendation, but I feel like almost like maybe we should discuss in the group. If you're in the group and you've got a book that you'd like to read or that you'd like to recommend that you think everybody would like, I'd like to keep it, if we can, if I may, I'd like to keep it in the kind of sci-fi, fantasy, adventure kind of category, just because that's the shit that I like. And let's face it, Belinda's not going to read a book with us. So, where are we here? You didn't flood, but across the street flooded. That's an interesting way to describe a flood, that it can happen. But of course, that's high. You're on high ground. Third most one-day total in rain in Cleveland's history. Wow, Cleveland's really taken a hit. Ramon, you're not a big fan of jazz, so you left that out of your bingo cards. Well, let me tell you something. Jazz Fest is not by any means all jazz. I would say that jazz accounts for maybe 20-25%, and there's just a ton of blues and funk, and Jazz Fest includes a lot of pop music and rock and roll. So don't count. New Orleans can make you happy in so many ways. Please do not stay away from Jazz Fest just because you don't think you like jazz, because I bet there are some things that you might like. Oh, the Midnight Disturbers played it too, so I've missed that. Oh, that's a shame. All right. Yes, Annie, Mother-in-Law is one of Ernie Cado's songs. And when you're in New Orleans, you should visit the Mother-in-Law Lounge, which is formerly Ernie Cato's bar and home, but now it is owned and occupied and home to Kermit Ruffins, who is the current one of the current kings of New Orleans, in my opinion. And Scott is saying he'll mail a copy of Replay to anyone who wants in on the fun. That's very nice. Catcher in the Rye. Keys, here's the funny thing about Catcher in the Rye. I read that book and really responded to it. In my mid-20s, I thought, well, why didn't I read this when I was a teenager? I felt like it would be so... And then I was talking to a friend of mine who's because I felt like, to me, it really spoke to some of the feelings that I had as a adolescent. And then I talked to a friend who's an English teacher here in Santa Monica at a very diverse high school, and the kids today think that guy Holden Caulfield is just a entitled douche, and they hate it. Children of Men by P.D. James. Josh, yes, I would watch Children of Men, or I would read Children of Men, and I don't think we'll do it for the book club, though. Thank you for the suggestion, because I've seen the movie too recently with that Clive Owen. Who is a person who, if he's in a movie, I can get my wife to go see it, even if it's about science fiction or murdering. Ramon, I love Sting, that type of jazz. Kenny G, not so much. Yeah, you don't need to worry about Kenny G type jazz when you go down to New Orleans. You can get plenty of Sting stuff. I think you'd like it down there. Flavia, you're a huge jazz fan, can't stand Kenny G. Kenny G is an easy guy to make fun of, and so I'm not going to really start in on him, but I do feel like maybe I can defend him just as an entertainer myself, if I may, artist who's been around for a long time. Kenny G found a thing that he liked doing, and he found a lot of people who liked the thing that he liked doing, and they all had a good time together. And that, I think, is something to be admired. And if I can just take this moment out of Labor Day to thank you all for being here again, I really do appreciate it. Yeah, Sue, my sister, you want to go to Jazz Fest. You do need to go to Jazz Fest. Is Clockwork Orange sci-fi? I would sort of put that in that weird alternate history universe. Maybe, I don't know, sci-fi. But yeah, I'm trying to... That's to go back to Josh's idea, and thanks for watching, Josh. But I don't think that I can do socially relevant right now. Although one of the books we listened to on Walter Mosley, he wrote Devil in a Blue Dress, which was made into a film with Denzel Washington and Jennifer Beals. Don Cheadle had a career breakout role as Mouse in that. Walter Mosley wrote these books about this great detective called Easy Rawlins, and Easy is black, and these books take place and so is Walter Mosley, and these books take place in Los Angeles, and so they're kind of fun Los Angeles history because they kind of span from the 40s up through the 60s and 70s. He may still be writing books about more contemporary Los Angeles, but this book we read was called Little Scarlet, and it was about a murder that was happening right around the time of the Watts riots. And I would recommend... Easy Rawlins books are fun. I'm the detective genre. I'm also a fan of, and Easy Rawlins is a great character. Walter Mosley really is terrific at writing these books, and so we listened to an audio book of Easy Rawlins' Little Scarlet on the trip up and back to Yosemite, and it was really terrific because in a way it is speaking to contemporary times, because he talks a lot about riots and looting and the reason and the feelings that people have in the black community, that black people have about the cause of what's going on. There's some insightful parts of that book, and if I had it and highlighted it, I could go through those. But I do recommend those Walter Mosley books, and Little Scarlet is the one we just listened to. So if you'd like to give that a look. We got it on the library. I downloaded it. I didn't get it on the library app. I got it on audible.com, but highly recommend it. Well, people are now talking a little bit about Kenny G. Julie really loved Ender's Game. Yeah, I really enjoyed the Ender's Game movie. I know that's not a book, but I really enjoyed the film Ender's Game. Yeah, if you can ever leave the house, you want to go to New Orleans. Yeah, that's exactly kind of where I was with listening to the Jazz Fest in Place today. I was like, am I ever going to go back down there and see these people and eat that food and drink those drinks and dance on those bars and stick my feet in the Mississippi River and have a muffaletta on the levee? Oh my God, I want to do all that stuff and wear my kilt. I do have my kilt out. Josh, what are you saying? Headline comedian Jake Johansson goes public as a Kenny G apologist. I doubt that in these times, Josh, you could get any kind of controversial news play with that. But you feel free to run with it if you think that can help my career. That's the kind of weird publicity I'm up for. So what have I got here? Don, hello, greetings today. Your favorite writer is Elmore Leonard. Yes, Elmore Leonard, also terrific. I like Robert Cray, who was a TV writer and then started writing books about a detective called Elvis Cole in Los Angeles, and they're more contemporary, but those are pretty fun if you want some novels about Los Angeles. Robert Cray, Crais. Rich DeChooch, I am here, I think is what you're saying. It's good to see you. Oh, I missed the Kenny G love. Yeah, you did miss the Kenny G love, but you can go back and watch that at the beginning. Oh, Julie, of course, the Ender's movie book was fine, but couldn't do the book justice, as that's so true of a lot of films, as we know. Joyce, this is the first time I've seen your online show. How long have you been doing them? Since April. Since April 1st or March 31st. You've got a lot of work to do if you want to catch up with where everybody else is. But welcome aboard. Thank you for watching today. And I hope that I will see you here again. My wife will be here tomorrow, and she's been here for quite a few of the other ones. I can recommend the show from April 9th, which I believe is the one about otters, as it's had a lasting effect on the audience here. So ask Mr. Predicto, will we all be able to meet at Jazz Fest next year? Yes, I can do that. Mr. Predicto, will we all be able to meet at Jazz Fest in 2021? Mr. Predicto. Jazz Fest 2021, can we all meet there? Will we?
The answer is yes.
The answer is yes, so I will see you guys all at Jazz Fest next year in New Orleans, Louisiana. That's going to be the last week. Well, it's 2 weekends. It's the last weekend in April and the first weekend in May on your calendar. I always go to the first weekend, but if you guys are all going, maybe we'll go to both weekends. I have to say, I'm not sure. I got him to stop playing with for a few minutes. What have I been playing with? I don't know. Anyway, since about March, I think, someone correct me. Yeah, it's March 31st. That's when the show started. Keys was wearing pants during the early days. Correct. Don welcoming Joyce. That's good. Good. So we'll all be in New Orleans next year. That's terrific. Good news for us. We're going to have a good time. Let me tell you something. I don't know about today, but when I peer into the future of next year at Jazz Fest with all you guys, the fun meter is in the red zone. So I'm excited. I don't know, what else was I going to talk about? Yes, truth is stranger than fiction, because truth has to stick to the world of what is possible. Or fiction is obliged to stick to the rule of what is possible, and truth is not. So truth, that's the beauty of truth. Ramon says April 2021 may still be part of the second COVID 45 wave. Yeah, I think you're right. It could be. It could be. In which case, we're going to form a backup plan. Luckily, we have plenty of time to to put that together. But I want you to all think about our backup plan in case we're not able to meet in New Orleans next year for Jazz Fest. What is our backup plan? Put that in your mind. Happy Labor Day. I hope you guys have had a great Labor Day. I got a little bit more time before I have to go. No beach plans next year? Jazz Fest. Got it. Yeah, no beach plans. No beach plans for that. For spring break. If that's who you are, you got to do what you got to do. It's a good saying. It is what it is, and you got to do what you got to do. Fart machine is active. I meant to have that on earlier today. So tomorrow we'll have a Bible story. Let's take and a letter from Grandma. I'm not out of letters from Grandma yet. So let's take a look. Oh, what did I open to first? The flight. Here we go. The flight into Egypt. That's going to be our Bible story for tomorrow. I'm going to put the bookmark in. The flight into Egypt. That'll be our Bible story for tomorrow. We got a letter from Grandma. That's the thing that happens on Tuesdays. Cleveland 2022. I'm hoping that I'll get to Cleveland before 2022. That's my goal for some comedy shows, and that we'll be able to meet up there. What do we got here? Guessing Jake will be in Austin sometime next year. I hope so. Keys, fingers crossed. I'm starting to get a little bit nervous, in fact, about what it's going to be like to even start. How do I get ready to go back to doing live shows again? Because I've got to get some stage time, and there's nowhere to go on stage right now. And man, I was again reading in the New York Times online about comedians in New York doing these outdoor shows, which are terrible. We all know Zoom comedy shows are terrible. So I don't know, but yes, I'm hoping to get there. Oh, Joyce, we met a long time ago at my gig in Seattle. My mutual friend Al, who goes to Jazz Fest. Yeah, Alligator. That's what we call him, Alligator. So yeah, Al's a good guy. So yeah, Joyce, I was supposed to be in Seattle this month. I think it was next weekend, but that's not going to happen right now. So hopefully I'll be able to get back there. Don, Raleigh is such a tricky one. That club has been up and down in terms of how they're booking and who they're booking, and who knows how places are going to be booking into the future after COVID. I think people are either going to be on a tight budget, or it's going to be tricky. Ramon's asking if the Hebrews flew into Egypt on LL. Well, to be honest, I'm not much of a Bible aficionado, but I'm going to be reading tomorrow from the Children's Bible. I'm going to say I'm pretty sure that they did not have air travel during Bible times. So I'm going to say, Josh says, do some Zoom comedy, take the plunge. No, it's not the same, but it's something. It gets easier after a bunch of sets. Yeah, Josh. Okay. Well, maybe I'll try some Zoom comedy, but not today. I'm gonna go see my wife. Gonna go check on my wife. Bring a little snack in bed. So now we finish out the show at the end of at the end of our day, after the happy half hour, with a little quote from thanks to Rachel for Seize the Day. This is from Seize the Day 2. And today's Seize the Day is from Albert Einstein. Heard of him? He's a smart guy. Stay away from negative people. They have a problem for every solution. Boom. Boom. Try not to read too much news today. Try and stay cool if it's hot where you are. And hang on. Don't give up. There'll be plenty of time to give up later. We're just kind of settling in to the Varinus time, and we're really just starting to figure out how to be ourselves, how to have our fun, and how to get the things done that we want to get done. And so thank you for your help. I appreciate it, and your support. And yeah, don't give up. There'll be plenty of time.